Welcome back, and thanks for joining. And hopefully, you watched and learned some new tips and tricks from that first video. Hopefully, this second video will be a little bit more smooth. There were some issues with the microphone and just some glitches overall, but hopefully, now that we've gotten going, those will be smoothed out. If you think I'm looking different, I am. I did shave my face. Some people think that I look a couple years younger after I do that, so I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I did shave the other day, and so I do look a little bit different. If I am looking different to you, that is why. Just to give you a little bit of context to this video, I probably should have done this in the very first video, but just to give you a little bit of background information regarding this match. So this match was probably the 5th or 6th match of the day. So both me and my partner were extremely exhausted, we were gassed, and I was actually cramping a little bit in the very first part of that game. Towards the end, it kind of goes away, but I remember specifically I was cramping a lot, and I had actually had to get some salt pills or something like that to reduce the cramping. The conditions were awful. It felt like 100% humidity, and then also mixed with about 95-degree weather to 100-degree weather. Being out on the court, running around was very intense. And then also I'm still recovering, and in that match especially, I was recovering from a hurt ankle. And so that is why my partner Zane was able to take over so much, because before the match and before the day began, I told him, and he was expecting to take over just because I wasn't able to move as much as I normally would. And so that's why you see him oftentimes kind of cramping over in my space. Normally that's not something he does so much with me. But before the match and before the day, I told him, hey, you got to help me out because I'm not able to move as much as I normally do. As is custom, since this is in the back draw, it's just 1 game to 15. You switch sides at 8 points. When one team reaches 8, you switch sides. And so these matches can go by very quickly, or they can go for 20 to 30 minutes or so. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. Thanks. Alrighty, welcome back. Let's get going. So the last point of the part 1 video took us to 8 points, and so here we are switching sides. I believe you have a 1 to 2 minutes in between when you're switching sides. So here I am getting some rosin on my hand because it's extremely humid there, and my grip was slipping a little bit, and so I always like to put this rosin chalk stuff on my hand to keep it from slipping. Here we are. I'm going to fast forward through this timeout or this changeover so we can get right to the action. Let's see. For some reason, that was a little bit longer of a timeout it seemed to be. Alright, Zane is serving, and I believe the score is 8-6. Let's see. 8-6-2 is the score. And we work our way up to the middle of the net. And here is a pretty standard point with a lot of dinks, mixing it up. Morgan, Tyson, me, Zane, and that is the end of this clip. Let's move to the next one. Alright, continuing on. So I slice it to Morgan. This is just a pretty standard dink game, and Morgan popped it up just a little bit too much, and I recognized that, and I was able to do that. The reason being is we were stacking, and it kept my forehand in the middle, and so whenever I hop that corner, it's really easy for me to do it because it has my forehand on the inside. Let's take one more look at that. So Morgan simply pops it up just a little bit too high, and I recognize that right away. I'm actually anticipating that, and so I'm ready for it, and then I see him pop it up just a little bit too much, and then I go for it. Right
Right there is a little bit too high, and right when I see it going to me, I take the leap of faith and I go for it and I connect with it. There's not really much that Tyson can do off of that ball that Morgan hit. He just popped it up a little bit too much.
And normally when I look for this shot,
normally I'm looking for it when I'm going down the line. It's very difficult for me to pull off this type of a shot when I'm going cross court with a person, just because of the angles are not there. But when I'm going down the line, it's a lot easier. So normally I'll do it when I'm going down the line, but cross court won't be as much. And then I pop the ball right there and get Tyson jammed up a little bit to his backhand.
Morgan
shakes that off.
So I believe the score is
9-6-2. Let's see. 9-6-2 is the score.
And I do
a drive for the third.
And then make
our way up to the net. And then Tyson misses it. That's a pretty good standard point that we like. 10-6-2 is the score.
That was a great drive by
Zane.
Little
volley action, and Zane popped it up just a little bit too high, but that was a great point. So Morgan and Tyson are down 6-10-1 in a game to 15. That was a great move by Morgan. He just went for a little bit too much. That was a little bit risky on his part. I like movement, but the ball that he went for was a little bit low. If you watch where he made contact with that ball, it's almost below the net, right around here. Let's see. You can't really see Tyson's in the way, but it looks as if Morgan's hitting it right there, and that's a very difficult shot for anyone to make because your paddle is below the net. So in theory, you have to be hitting that ball up over the net rather than down like a normal smash would be. So he simply just missed it. I do like that the fact that Morgan was looking for that. That's awesome. 6-10-2. That's a good drive by Tyson, working his way up to the net, and then just missed a little bit of an easier ball. If I were Tyson on that one, maybe I would have gotten up to the middle of the net or up to the kitchen line a little bit sooner. He's still standing kind of far back, and that's okay, but it would have been easier for him to block that ball from, say, 3 to 4 more feet up closer to the net. And he just simply missed it. Not a typical miss.
All right,
10-6-1, I believe. 10-6-1. I drop that one, and we work our way up to the middle of the net. Some dinking ensues. I'm not sure if that ball was in or not. Let's see. I think that was in. That's a great shot by Morgan. A little bit risky, but hey, you gotta risk it to get the biscuit, as they say. 10-6-2. And that was possible because of the drive that I set up right here. Let's see. So I drive my first 2 balls. The first one was okay, wasn't great, but the second drive is what pops it up. And Zane is there ready to close it out. So let's see here. I drive this one, and then I drive this one, and this is the one that pops it up. See how low that is over the net? That might be 3 inches or so. It's kind of hard to tell from this angle, but it looks to be about 3 inches above the net. And Tyson just pops it up, and Zane cleans up the mess right there. And once again, we're able to do that because both of our forehands are in the middle of the court, which allows for either of us to really attack that ball. That's exactly what we want to happen, preferably every single point, but that doesn't always happen.
11-6-2
is the score. And same thing, except for Zane was the one who initiated it, and then I came up there and cleaned it up. Once again, this is due to the fact that our forehands are in the middle. 12-6-2, I believe, is the score. Zane rips another one. Tyson gets that one back. And Morgan simply put that away from Zane. He didn't do too much with it. It was more of a simple block, which is great. Oftentimes, you don't really need to hit a great shot. You just need to block it back, and then you guys can do well with that point. As I was saying, oftentimes, I think everyone as players, I think they think that they have to hit too much or too hard to win the point, and oftentimes that's not the case. Sometimes you do have to pull up really good shots, but as you saw with Morgan, he simply blocked that back to the opposite corner, and they won the point. Let's look at it one more time. Let's see. All right, right here. So we have a great point, and Morgan, he just plays very simple. And just blocked it right back. Great shot, very smart shot. So I believe the score is 6-12-1. Yep, 6-12-1. So I will say, even though the score is 6-12-1, most people just kind of hearing that score would say it's kind of a walk-away match. It's kind of over. I remember specifically thinking, hey, this match isn't over. These guys are fighting. And so I was still really nervous, tense. I was wanting to make sure to close it out because at the top level, if you give any of these guys hope or let them inch their way back in, they can come back in real quickly, and then they can start taking the lead. So it's really important to stay focused and really just play every single point as if it was the last point. Some Dean Keen, Morgan Tyson make their way up to the net. And Tyson went for that. Let's see, I think... So he barely missed that. That is a very risky shot. I'm guessing he missed that by just a couple inches. The only thing is, had he made it, I would have been able to hit that ball out in front of me. So it's a very risky shot with low reward. I probably wouldn't have done that just because when he sped it up, he was far below the net. And so for him, in order to make that shot, the margin of window is so low that to me it's normally not worth it. That is a net. Redo the third or serve. They're making their way up to the net, and that's a great setup. Seven, 12-2 is the score. Tyson hits a deep serve and misses a shorter ball. 12-7-1 is the score. I make my way up to the net. And Tyson, I would say he got a little lucky on that point. He did speed it up. More often than not, that was to my forehand, and more often than not, I would think that I would make that. He did get that point. However, if he were to continue to do that, I believe I would have been there and make those balls in the future. And Zane decided to drive that third ball. However, if you look at the height on that third ball, let's go back. It was extremely high. That was maybe 7 or 8 inches over the net, and that simply put me in danger. Let's see it. So as you can tell, that looks probably even higher than 7 to 8 inches over the net, and Morgan just simply blocks it and puts it away. So once again, that's the danger with driving those thirds. The margin of window is so small. If you don't hit that that 0 to 3 inches or so, then you're basically giving the point to your opponents. All right, let's skip forward. This is a timeout. Alrighty. And there is another missed return on my part. Not to make excuses, but I generally have 0 to 1 missed returns in a match. Normally at 0, but this game I think I had 2. I don't know what was going on. I've played against Tyson and Morgan before, and normally 0 to 1 return of serve errors. But it is what it is, and just gotta learn to improve. That was a great speed up by Tyson. Looked very pretty. That was a little bit risky shot because he went down the middle, and both of our forehands are in the middle though, so it was a beautiful shot, but had he mishit it by a couple inches, then maybe they wouldn't have gotten the point.
Morgan popped that up just a little bit too much. And anything up here above my shoulders, I'm going to go full attack on. I don't want to give them any chance that they can stay in the point. And that is a miss from Zane, a little bit uncharacteristic miss from Zane during this match. He normally made most of his balls, so we'll forgive him on this one. A drive by Tyson, which was great because it was low, and then Morgan just simply missed it. Let's go back one more time. Tyson really uses his legs, which is great. See, he's got that spring right there in those legs, and then he uses that extension of the legs to generate a lot of the power. And then that ball, it appears to be 4 to 5 inches over the net. Not perfect, but it's not terrible. And then Morgan simply missed that middle range volley. There seemed to be a couple of those misses today. That was a little bit high drive from me. Some dinking ensues, mixing it up. Morgan, Tyson, Zane, me. Not really focusing on one or the other, it appears. That's a tough shot from Tyson. It appears as if he got a little antsy. I don't know if I were in that situation, if I would have sped it up that soon. Maybe wait 4 to 5 or 6 more. Maybe he would have had an easier ball to speed it up on. I think he said 13-10-1, the ref, which is a still pretty close game. And once again, I think Morgan now, he got a little bit antsy and he sped it up. And once again, that was speeding up in the middle. Since we're stacking, both of our forehands are in the middle. I don't know if I would suggest doing that. And I simply missed my third drive, going for too low over the net. This is a great point so far. Just a lot of dinking, working the point. And we have to go to a new video. Let's do this one. And we are right here. And the play will resume right now. This is a great point. Lots of balls back and forth, working the point, trying to strategize. That ball, the second previous ball, just barely. I think Morgan, had he been a little bit more attentive, he probably could have attacked that. Let's see. It was just a little bit high from Zane. Let's see if we can see it. Right there, that one, I think if he was really on top of it, he could have attacked that. Right there. And he simply takes a step off of that kitchen line and lets it bounce, and that allows for me and Zane to remain in the point. Had he been more attentive, he could have attacked that, I think. Everyone's a little bit tight. This is a very long point. This might be the longest point of the entire match. And that is the end of the match. I would like to say one thing. So if you look closely, after I do my Ernie, the movement of my partner is crucial. Let's see if we can go back one time. So watch Zane after I do the Ernie. Look where he goes. Oh, I gotta go back a little bit further. Sorry. All right, so I'm going for the Ernie right now, and watch Zane and watch where he moves after this. So he is right there in the middle. Oftentimes, when I do these Ernies, or other people do these Ernies, they'll hop right here, and then their partner will still be over here. And then oftentimes, if this team does hit it back, they just have to hit it back right there, and they'll win the point. But since my partner moved over here more towards the middle, he was able to get that ball, and then it allows me to get back into the point. And then Zane moves back over, and then I move over here. We're up match point right now, and so I don't think we wanted to do anything too wild. We wanted to force them to make a good shot. And that is that. So I think we won 15-10 or 15-11, something like that. It was a close game. Nothing but love and respect for Tyson and Morgan. They're great competitors, very athletic. They've beaten us a couple times. We've beaten them. It kind of just depends on the day and who wants it more. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. If you have any specific questions or comments about strategy that was seen in the video, or why I did or someone else did a certain thing, feel free to reach out or ask it, and I'll try my best to answer it. Once again, thanks for following along. Hope you have a great day.